Imagine waking up one morning, not to the sound of your alarm, but to a ground-shaking roar that rattles your windows. You look outside, and strolling down your street, casually knocking over a lamppost, is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It sounds like a movie scene, right? But what if it were real? What if, overnight, dinosaurs returned to our modern world? This isn't just about seeing a T-Rex in Times Square, although that would be an epic and terrifying sight. The consequences would be catastrophic and reshape our planet in ways we can barely imagine. Let's start with the immediate chaos. Our cities, the pride of human civilization, would become the first battlegrounds. A single Argentinosaurus, weighing up to 100 tons, could level entire city blocks just by walking through them. Bridges would crumble under its weight. Skyscrapers would become precarious perches for pteranodons, and our intricate networks of roads and railways would be utterly destroyed. Emergency services would be overwhelmed. How do you stop a stampeding herd of triceratops? Conventional weapons might work on smaller dinosaurs, but against the sheer size and thick hide of a large sauropod, they'd be like throwing pebbles. Our military would have to deploy heavy artillery, turning our urban centers into war zones. The collateral damage would be immense, and the loss of life unimaginable. Forget your morning commute. Survival would become the only priority. And it's not just the big guys we'd have to worry about. Imagine swarms of Compsognathus, small but relentless, flooding the subways, or velociraptors, with their terrifying intelligence and speed, learning to open doors and hunt in packs through shopping malls and office buildings. Nowhere would be truly safe. The very concept of a secure home would vanish overnight. People would be forced to evacuate cities, leading to a refugee crisis on a global scale. But where would they go? The impact on our ecosystem would be just as devastating. Today's plants and animals have evolved over 65 million years without dinosaurs. The sudden reintroduction of these megaherbivores would strip entire forests bare in weeks. A herd of Edmontosaurus could devour an entire farm's crop in a single afternoon, leading to immediate and widespread famine. Our agriculture system, the foundation of our civilization, would collapse. Predatory dinosaurs would decimate modern wildlife. Lions, tigers, and bears would suddenly find themselves at the bottom of a new, much more terrifying food chain. The delicate balance of every ecosystem, from the African savanna to the Amazon rainforest, would be shattered. Species that have existed for millions of years could be wiped out in a matter of months. And what about the environment itself? Dinosaurs, especially the massive sauropods, produce huge amounts of methane. Their return would mean a massive spike in greenhouse gas emissions, accelerating climate change at a terrifying rate. Our planet's atmosphere would literally change. Oxygen levels might even be affected. We'd be living on a fundamentally different Earth. Over time, humanity would be forced to adapt or perish. We'd retreat into fortified zones, heavily defended settlements that might look like something out of a sci-fi dystopia. The open world would belong to the dinosaurs. Exploring the wilderness would become an expedition of extreme danger, requiring armored vehicles and heavy weaponry. The age of casual hiking and camping would be over. Our economy would be unrecognizable. Industries like tourism, transportation, and agriculture would be gone. New industries would rise from the ashes dinosaur defense systems, fortified construction, and maybe even a black market for dinosaur eggs and DNA. Scientists would be in a race against time, studying these creatures to understand their behavior, their biology, and their weaknesses. Perhaps we could find a way to control them, or even coexist. Could we find a way to coexist? It's a tantalizing thought. Imagine protected zones where humans could safely observe these magnificent creatures. A real-life Jurassic Park, but managed with the wisdom of hindsight. We could learn so much about the history of our own planet, but the risks would be enormous. One security breach, one escaped dinosaur could lead to disaster. Ultimately, the return of the dinosaurs would be the ultimate test for humanity. It would force us to confront our own vulnerability and our place in the natural world. We see ourselves as the dominant species on this planet, the masters of our domain. But faced with the raw power and untamable nature of the dinosaurs, we would be reminded that we are just one part of a much larger and much wilder story. Would we unite as a species, putting aside our differences to face a common threat? Or would we splinter into warring factions, fighting over scarce resources in a world reclaimed by prehistoric giants? The answer to that question would define the future of humanity. The world would be a place of both terror and wonder. The sight of a Brachiosaurus gracefully munching on the leaves of the tallest tree, or a flock of Archaeopteryx taking flight at sunset, would be breathtaking. But that beauty would always be underscored by the constant threat of danger. Life would become a daily struggle for survival, a return to a more primal existence where every rustle in the bushes could mean the end. So, the next time you watch a dinosaur movie, take a moment to really think about it. The return of dinosaurs wouldn't just be an adventure. It would be an apocalypse. It would be the end of the world as we know it, and the dawn of a new, terrifying, and awe-inspiring prehistoric age. What do you think? How would you survive in a world with dinosaurs? Let me know your best survival strategies in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into a world that might have been, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more what-if scenarios. Thanks for watching.